Hi, Tony. Thanks ever so much for coming. You know we've been asked to organise something for John's farewell.
Yeah, sure. It's about time we started working out details.
Exactly. We don't want to leave it so late that it's double the work.
Right. Do you want me to take notes?
Oh, that'd be great, thanks.
Right. First thing is, when is the best time to hold it?
Well, he leaves on the 24th of December.
So what about the 22nd?
Yeah, I think that's about right. We want it quite near the time, don't we?
Sure. And what about a venue? In college? A hotel?
I think a hotel will probably work out rather expensive. And I've been looking at the college dining room. That seems pretty reasonable.
Fine. Yeah, why not?
And then we ought to be thinking about invitations. Who mustn't we forget to invite?
Well, obviously John and his wife.
Oh, right.
And the director.
Uh-huh.
The office staff.
Yep. And all the teachers and all the students.
Anyone else?
Faculty heads?
No, better draw the line. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't mind writing the invitations. When shall we get them out for?
Enough time, but not too early. What about the 15th of December?
Well, there are exams on the 16th. Better avoid them.
10th?
Yeah, that should do it.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
So, what does that leave? Oh, yes, a present.
Would you mind doing that?
No, not at all. We usually go round with an envelope during coffee break, don't we?
Yeah, coffee break's always the best time, because people have got their money handy.
Yeah, exactly. Do we suggest an amount, or does it seem a bit unfair?
No, I think people welcome it. We suggested $6 last time. Is that okay?
Yeah, plenty, I would have thought, which should leave us with about $90.
Have you any ideas for presents?
Well, I've been having a little think. I thought, he loves music.
Yeah, and books.
So I thought I'd check on prices for, perhaps CD players?
Yeah, that's a good idea. And also I thought maybe, a set of dictionaries. I heard him say he needed a good one.
The other thing he was saying last week was that his computer printer had broken.
No, I'd be really frightened about getting the wrong type.
Okay, yeah.
The other thing is something for the home. Jill suggested a coffee maker.
Oh, yeah. I'll certainly find out what they cost. Okay. Have you got all that down?
Yes.
Now, we need to think a little more about the money. I know we've got a set amount from the social fund.
Right. What does that cover?
It's meant to cover the cost of the room.
Yeah.
And a certain amount for food.
And also drinks?
Oh, yeah, certainly.
But will it be enough?
What we've done in the past is to ask guests to bring some snacks.
Right.
We don't ask them to bring more drinks because we figure that's, that should come from the social fund.
Okay. Anything else for the guests to bring?
Well, some music, because there'll be a tape deck there in the room, and we can have some dancing later on.
Anything else?
Well, it's just a thought, but a couple of years ago we had a really good party where we set up, some simple games.
Yeah, great. Wasn't it based on photos from the students and teachers?
That's right.
So we should ask the guests to bring photos. Okay, I'll put it on the invitations.
Now, the last thing is, who shall we ask to do the speech?
Don't you think it might be nice to have one of the students?
Well, then the student leader?
Yeah, much better than the director giving speeches again.
OK, then I'll ask her. Lovely. So, is that all?
It looks like it.
Great. Oh, thanks ever so much.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2.
In the studio with me today, I have Mike Reynolds, who's what is known as a caver. In other words, he spends long periods of time exploring underground caves for pleasure. And Mike's here to tell us all about this fascinating hobby and how to get started on it. So, Mike, why caves?
Well, cavers actually explore any space that's underground, whether it's caves, old mines or tunnels.
Oh, right. So how big are these underground spaces?
Oh, anything up to 80 kilometres long, which means that in some cases, in order to reach the end, you've got to sleep, to set up camp inside the cave at some point, usually where both space and fresh air are available.
No good if you're afraid of the dark.
No.
So where do you find the best caves?
In terms of countries, the best places are, for example, Ireland, Australia and the Philippines. Here in the UK, various areas have the right sort of geology. My favourite is Wales, but you can find plenty of caves in northern England and in Scotland too.
Caving involves a lot of physical exercise, doesn't it?
That's right. In terms of physical activity, it's very similar to climbing, except they go up and we go down. The conditions can be very different though. We often find ourselves facing very small gaps in the rock, which we have to crawl through on our hands and knees.
So the right equipment is obviously very important. If I wanted to start out on a hobby like this, what would I need?
Well, you need a hard hat, and it's important to get one that fits properly so that it doesn't keep falling over your eyes or feel too tight. And these can cost anything from £5 to £20.
That doesn't sound too much for starters.
Oh, but then there's the lamp. You wear that in your head because it's very important to keep your hands free at all times. But it doesn't come with the hat, and it can cost anything up to £50 to get a suitable one.
I guess warm clothes are a must too.
You'll need to spend £30 to £40 on a waterproof suit because the caves can be pretty wet and cold inside, and you can get ill if you're not protected. Then, of course, the thing that you really need to spend money on is something for your feet that keeps the water out. Strong boots are essential for this. Also, because without them, you could be slipping on wet surfaces and doing yourself an injury. Cheap ones are just not as safe, I'm afraid.
Well, it sounds pretty tough. I mean, is it really only a sport for the young and fit?
That's quite interesting because people tend to think that. But in fact, cavers come from all ages and backgrounds, students and professionals alike. You even find 80-year-olds who've been doing it for years.
What exactly is it that people find so attractive?
It's excitement. The pleasure you get in finding something new. A passage that nobody knew about before, or a piece of rock that's just lovely to look at.
And I understand that conservation has become a key issue as well.
Yes, 48 caves in Britain are now known as places of special interest because of what they contain. And this is the same in other countries too.
So do cavers enjoy competing like in other sports?
No. We want to enjoy a safe sport. And in order to ensure that, there are no competitions in caving. We try to organise a range of events, but the emphasis is on cooperation and the enjoyment of the sport for what it can offer the individual.
Well, it sounds like something I'll have to try one day. Mike, thank you very much for coming in and sharing.
You're going to hear a dialogue between two friends. As you listen, fill the missing words in the notes below, and then indicate whether the following statements are true or false. Now listen to the conversation.
Hi, Linda. Did you have a nice holiday?
Yes, I went to visit my Aunt Kathy in Chase Village for a week.
Oh, you went to Chase Village. I know the place. My sister lives there. How is the traffic there?
Not too bad. Why do you ask about the traffic?
You know, I went to the village 3 years ago. There was a lot of traffic in Chase Village. People drove too fast. I had a very serious accident on Newland Street. I was afraid to drive there, so I always try to avoid that road whenever I visit my sister.
Things are changing now. You know, people put on the brakes and slow down on Newland Street because they can see a police car there with a police officer in it.
Oh, it's good to have a policeman there, because there were many accidents that happened on that road. But the police officer wouldn't be there all the time, so some people wouldn't be too careful about the police. Sometimes they just took a risk.
You know, a police officer has been working on that road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for about 2.5 years now.
Oh, how can a policeman do that without any break?
No break at all.
How much does he get paid for the overtime?
In fact, he doesn't get any pay at all.
What is his name? He must be a volunteer there, but I can't believe it.
His name is Officer Springerth. The police department put him to work there.
What do you mean? Why did the police department put him there?
In fact, he isn't a real man. He's a mannequin. Before he was put there, people broke into 16 cars in 2 months in the village. When the police department put Officer Springerth on that road, there were no more break-ins in that area.
I'm glad to hear it. I think the police department should put more mannequins on other roads which often cause accidents.
It's a good idea. You know, the crime rate in Chase Village is very low compared to the neighbouring village.
So the most important effect Officer Springerth has is reducing the crime rate.
Exactly.
I'll go to visit my sister next month, so I'll try that road again.
Yes, please do. You'll see the changes.
You'll hear a pre-recorded message on the Travelite Travel Agency information line. Now listen carefully.
Thank you for calling the free Travelite Travel Agency information line. You will not be charged for this call. In order to deal with all calls effectively, we offer you a number of options. Please listen carefully and press your required number at the appropriate time or dial a new number. If you want to hear about special offers, please press 1. If you want to hear our latest price lists, please press 2. If you want to make a complaint, please press 3. If you want information about our new walking holidays, please press 4 now.
Thank you for calling our Travelite Walking Holidays line. We have been offering a wide variety of walking holidays to suit all tastes for just 3 years, but already we have won 2 awards for excellence in this field. We offer guided walking tours to suit the discerning traveller in 12 different centres throughout the whole of Western Europe. We are planning to open our first centre outside this area in the coming year, so watch out for developments. But the pride of Travelite is the level of guidance and support we offer on our walks. All are planned in detail by our highly trained guides who all work in a variety of different Travelite locations, so we can guarantee standards. Each day we offer 3 separate walks catering for all skills and fitness levels. We also pride ourselves on our friendly service, particularly important for the increasing numbers of people who choose to holiday alone. Unlike almost all travel operators who happily charge large supplements for single rooms, we guarantee that no single client will pay more, even when only double rooms are available for them. And the day doesn't end with the return to base. After our dinner at communal tables designed to make all our guests feel part of a family atmosphere, Entertainment is laid on nearly every night with tour leaders on hand to organise lectures, games, quizzes and respond to any special request from guests.